What if I told you that a single shot, a weight loss injection, was building a $1 trillion empire for one company? Well, that's exactly what's happening right now with Eli Lilly. And this isn't just another business story. Nope, this is a full blown revolution in medicine. And it all starts with one truly mind boggling member. $1 trillion. Let that sink in for a second. That is the almost unbelievable valuation Eli Lilly has just soared past, making it one of the most valuable companies on the entire planet. And how did they do it? It all comes down to a new class of drugs that are, well, changing everything. And here they are. These are the two names fueling this absolute rocket ship, Mounjaro and Zepbound. You've probably heard of them. These drugs are the engine behind the company's insane rise. They're considered some of the most effective treatments for obesity ever developed, and their popularity has just completely exploded. Now, what's really interesting is that Eli Lilly wasn't actually the first to this party. Their main rival, Novo Nordisk, was an early leader in this space. But Lilly's drugs have been so incredibly effective that they've managed to just seize the lead, creating a financial tidal wave that we really have to look at up close. So let's do that. Let's break down the anatomy of this financial firestorm. Seriously, the scale of this growth is so extreme, you really need to see the numbers to even begin to believe it. The speed of this is just incredible. I mean, if you go back just a few years to 2018, a single share of Eli Lilly stock was under $100. Today, it is multiplied by more than 10 times. That's not just regular growth. That is a complete revaluation of an entire company, and it's driven almost entirely by the promise of these new drugs. And if you think that tenfold growth is wild, get this. The recent acceleration has been even more intense. Just since 2023, the share price has leaped over 75%. This isn't some gentle slope upwards. It's a vertical launch. So, where's all this value coming from? Well, revenue like this. In just one single quarter recently, Mounjaro and Zepbound alone brought in over $10 billion. Let me repeat that. That's not for the whole company. That's just the revenue from these two drugs in 3 months. And just think about that for a second. 2 drugs, just 2, now account for more than half of the company's entire income. This massive global corporation is essentially being carried on the shoulders of these 2 blockbusters. That level of dependency is almost unheard of in business. So, okay, with this kind of crazy, unprecedented success, the big question becomes, what's next? How do you possibly maintain it? How does Eli Lilly defend this brand new empire and lock down its future? Right? It's the classic challenge of success. When you're on top of the mountain, everyone else is trying to knock you off. So what's their strategy? How do they stay there? Well, part of the answer is just aggressive global expansion. They are making enormous investments, like opening a massive new research facility over in China. A move like this sends a really clear signal. They're not just playing for today's market, they are playing to own the future globally. And the scale we're talking about here is just immense. This isn't some small lab. This new facility is designed to host like 8 to 10 different research institutions at the same time. And it's set up to conduct research on over 100 different medicines simultaneously. This is a power move, plain and simple, designed to cement their leadership for decades. But this strategy isn't just about protecting a couple of products. It's about capitalizing on the creation of an entirely new global market, one with a potential that is, well, it's almost unbelievable. And here's the magic number for that potential. Wall Street experts are now projecting that the market for these weight loss drugs could hit a staggering $150 billion within the next 5 years. That's not a typo, $150 billion. So the key thing to take away here is that this is so much bigger than just one company's hot new product. What we are witnessing in real time is the birth of an entirely new multi-billion-dollar global industry, and these drugs are the foundation of it all. So when you really step back and look at the whole picture, the conclusion is pretty clear. With just 2 blockbuster drugs, Eli Lilly hasn't simply built a trillion-dollar company. No, it's fundamentally reshaping the future of healthcare and the global market itself. And that leaves us with a final, really powerful question to think about. This goes way beyond one company's success story. It forces all of us to ask, what happens? What happens to medicine, to our health, and to our society when an entire industry gets completely reshaped by a single shot?